course, my live Friday night studio audience. So thank you very much for everybody who's made the effort to be here tonight. Thank you to my panel. And if you're not here, why not? You need to make sure your bum's in this seat this time next week. But, well, is Great Britain turning into the world's rubbish bin? We are the stage now. We are the stage for foreign drama. There's a civil war in Sudan. What happens? Both sides of that civil war come across the channel. I suppose doctor or engineer is the obvious question there. But we've had nearly 10,000 channel migrants this year. How much money do you think just one migrant hotel firm has received this year? So any guesses? It's in the millions, right? So just one migrant hotel company. Does anyone want to lob a few numbers at me here? Million. 700. 700. You've read the auto cue. There we go. 7. Well done, sir. It's a genius, this man. No, sir. There we are. You know, I tell you what, it's just all up here, isn't it? 700 million quid. That's your money, though. Gang warfare's coming across the channel. They've been arriving this week with stab wounds. And look, hey, do me a favour, all right? They're not being stabbed because of the people traffickers trying to get them here, are they?
Over the past 12 months, according now to the Home Office, through a Freedom of Information request, 8 migrants who arrived from France had to be treated by medics for stab injuries. 5 of those stabbings took place before the migrants even got on the boats. We're told that 3 took place on the boats themselves.
OK, so, just to emphasise how big this problem is, and by the way, take care walking home, guys, because this is a clip of the roundabout just outside this office. Illegal migrant roundabout, we call it, and they are either fleeing war, OK, are they? Yes, but more likely, I think, leaving a rubbish country and bringing their drama to Britain. Do we remember the Eritreans? And look what's happening now. India and Pakistan are fighting, OK? In actual India and Pakistan, though. Right? Now, many people are worried that it could kick off over here, and today, possibly, we saw the start of it. Why is this our problem? Why is any of this our problem? £700 million for one migrant hotel chain. You're paying for that. Both sides of the Sudanese civil war kicking off. The Eritreans fighting each other with massive sticks. Can you imagine what will happen if India and Pakistan do go to war? And one thing that you might notice, it's not all this, of course, is that none of this is involving Brits. But it's British police and it's the British taxpayer who has to deal with it. Now, before we go to the audience, before we go to my panel, I just very quickly want to find out what Adam Brooks and Big Marcus down the pub have to say about this. So,
welcome back to the Free Colts, Patrick. Again, I'm here with crowd favourite Big Marcus, and we're horrified about how much these hotel firms are making from asylum seeker hotels. Look, the audience don't need to know what I think. I've said it many times before. We're being taken for mugs, and it has to stop. Enough is enough. Marcus, what are your thoughts?
Well, clearly it's taking a mickey out of British taxpayers. This is ridiculous. It cannot continue. This is a betrayal of Britain's taxpayers.
And again, one thing I'd like to say is we're all paying for these asylum seekers in the hotels. There's a lot of crime emanating from these hotels, so we're paying to make our streets and our country more unsafe. Things have got to change, Patrick.
Us blokes hate talking about a little thinning up top, and many of us settle with that balding look, but that wasn't for me, and that's why I went to Elite Hair, the world's leading hair loss clinic, and now I've had over 4,000 new hairs added to this barnet, and very soon I'm going to be rocking some brand new flowing locks, and you can too. So how does it work? Step 1, I sent the team a set of photos of my head. Step 2, I then spoke to one of the Elite Hair staff who looked through my photo submissions and worked out a treatment plan for me. Step 3, Elite Hair then organised accommodation and the treatment. I was at their state-of-the-art treatment centre in Istanbul, and their incredibly kind staff took me through the process, and before I knew it, I was in surgery. Elite Hair and their leading medical experts have specialised in pain-free treatments using the sleep deep method, and they really mean that. I felt incredibly relaxed the whole time, and I haven't felt any pain since. Check out Elite Hair using the link in the description. When you do, Elite Hair will provide you with a free personalised hair analysis. Then you'll join over 100,000 happy patients. Hit that link and start your hair growth journey like I did today.
Thank you very much to Adam Brooks and Big Marcus down the pub. Always great to hear from them. Let's whiz ourselves over now, all right? So I've got my wonderful panel with me here. Just before I go to the studio audience on this, I'll just ask Emily, how do you feel about this, especially in light of the fact that we could well be on the brink of more sectarian violence in relation to the India and Pakistan issue?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to tar everyone with the same brush. I mean, I'm sure there are many Indians and many Pakistani heritage people in this country who absolutely do not want to start some kind of conflict on the streets of the UK. But unfortunately, as we saw in Leicester, I think it was in 2022, things can kick off. And yes, with multiculturalism comes these types of issues. If there is a conflict abroad, we'll see it here play out. Unfortunately, sometimes in the form of protest, and sometimes it can get into violence, and I am very worried about it. What on earth we do about it, I have absolutely no idea. Complete failure of integration, complete failure of policy. I don't know. I don't know what we do about it.
Look, it is seriously...
Apart from make sure it doesn't kick off. So policing, I suppose.
Well, possibly, yeah.
Can I correct one thing that you said earlier? And that is, you said India and Pakistan are fighting. They're not. India was subject to a terrorist attack launched from Pakistan.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very different thing. Now,
well,
Emily's absolutely right. What we should not see is an importation of that violence into the UK.
Yeah.
OK? So, absolutely agree with Emily on this. And tragically, it's been a flashpoint for that for many years, Kashmir. But let's now go to the point that you made about the 700 million being spent by one firm. I mean, I think it did have about 50 hotels that it was puzzles. But 2 years ago, we were spending £9 million a day on over 400 hotels. Today, we have 206 hotels, and the government has just ended the contracts for 51 more. We're now not spending
because we've moved a lot of them into social housing.
We're still spending £5.5 million a day, though, aren't we?
Absolutely, which is much too much. And the reason for that, Rob, is that 42,000 people were not processed through the justice system. So that's why they were kept in those hotels. That's why we're speeding up the process of the courts to make sure that we can then deport those who need to be deported and deal with those.
That's because the previous government wanted to keep them here to send them to Rwanda.
Well,
when eventually
no, you know that's not true because they couldn't.
That was the plan. I mean,
no, it wasn't. It wasn't because they only had 400 spaces.
Let's bring the gentleman
the hope was that there would be more than 400 spaces.
OK,
it wasn't.
The hope was that there would be.
Sir. What would you like to say?
Well, OK, the question's obviously been brought up already. This company got £700 million from the British government to house asylum seekers. They obviously cost an awful lot of money to look after. But does this mean that the British government is overpaying for a start, and is the British taxpayer bearing the brunt of all that money, basically?
That's a great point, actually, because Rob, I'll bring you in on this. I think if you are a company out there and the government comes knocking, you can charge whatever you want.
Well, I don't think you can blame the hotels if they're getting given the money. If leisure got smashed through lockdown and COVID, and you're a hotel with half-empty rooms, and then you get offered this massive amount of money.
I think you can blame them. Yeah. There's some people making a hell of a lot of money.
That's why we closed the 50.
Not keeping the hotels secure.
The government are paying.
Sorry, not everyone.
The government are paying.
Capitalism. It's capitalism.
Oh, sorry, but some people
don't have a go at the hotel for doing it. I don't like it. It doesn't thrill me.
They are
I don't like it either. The government are paying.
What would solve it is the government not needing to pay if they actually stop the boats. That would be what would solve this problem.
The government pay for the PlayStations, the bikes, the cooking.
You're the boss of a hotel chain, and you know full well.
And you've got half-empty rooms because of lockdown.
And you know full well that the people in the community around aren't going to be happy about it. Would you do it?
Well, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do?
Would you do it?
Or you go bust
hotel.
when you got shut down in lockdown. You don't have a choice.
I don't like it. I don't think it's fair.
If the government didn't offer it or didn't pay it, the hotels wouldn't take it.
Yes.
Yes.
House them somewhere else.
The government isn't offering it. They are charging that, and that's why...
And the government are paying.
Wait, and that's why we have just ended the contracts, cancelled the contracts for 51 hotels that were overcharging and that were being unreasonable.
But they're offering it to private landlords instead.
No.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They are actually offering it to private landlords.
It's an abdication of responsibility from the government.
Sorry.
No,
Again, Christo, get your facts right. They're not offering it. What's happened is we've had a closing down, certainly in London, of all the private sector accommodation long term.
Not this 700 million.
People now think, I can make more if I charge by the night for temporary accommodation.
Government negotiating.
Again, it's
the government are creating the product.
Ripping local councils off. They don't negotiate with government.
Local councils are terrible at spending money. They need to spend money better. They need to police it better.
And they don't have a go at the business people. Have a go at the horrific government, horrific councils, and the fact they are. There are companies out there that are touting for landlords. Do you think at the moment?
Do you think it's right that a landlord should be charging £700 a night for one person?
I think
this is not a four-star hotel, not a luxury Mayfair hotel.
The government are paying it. It's the government that are paying it.
If a council or a government is stupid enough to pay it, then I'm sorry, they really are.
Emily, what just bring you back in on
I just know that there have been most hotel managers who have turned down very juicy offers from the government out of principle. Out of principle.
Yeah. And that's really good.
Good on them.
And then the others that can't afford to do that or might end up going bust or a half empty or a quarter empty, like many businesses in the UK.
It's taken the 700 million.
You're arguing against capitalism.
Well, it's 51 hotels.
Which is one of the Liberal Democrats' biggest donors. I'm sorry, he's hardly a pauper, is he?
If the money wasn't there from the government, they wouldn't be able to charge it.
Obviously.
So we're talking about the wrong problem. We're blaming the wrong people.
You can talk about two things at the same time.
Yeah,
you can say, as a hotel manager, I wouldn't do that. And you can also say that the government have done things wrong.
Your business goes bankrupt.
That's not the only option for a business, Christo.
Stop.
Not the only option for a hotel is not
if you're empty and you go bust...
We need to stop because there's one way to sort this out, right? If only we could take some kind of live referendum, right? If only it was an audience show, oh, here we go. Right, so, does anyone here think that these hotels should be refusing the asylum seekers and the thing?
Yeah. In an ideal world, yes.
Right, but do you think that the government is overpaying?
Yes. That's the problem.
Why we're closing down the contract.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, exactly. They're not mutually exclusive.
And, you know, I'm sorry, but this is the problem with... You are arguing, oh, well, it's a free market, we should be able to charge what we like.
No, I didn't say that. You put words into my mouth. I didn't say the hotels could be able to charge what they like. I said they're going to take what they can get if the government are giving it out. No, it's receiving... Or having empty rooms.
The government isn't... The problem here is the government is not setting the
or
rate.
deporting anyone, really.
Yeah,
this is what we need to do. Why are these people in the country? Why are we paying for any of it?
That's why we're speeding up the judicial process. That's why we're closing down the contract. And that's why...
there's a lot of this is what we're going to do. With Labour, we're going to do this. We're going to do this.
We're doing it.
We've done it. Release out today. Did you see it? No. Right, the government have deported 43 people today.
Very good.
So there you go. That was the press release.
Excellent.
Well, how many hundred came across the channel?
Anyway, 700 million minus 43.
Right, we're gonna rattle on. So GBNews contacted Stay Belvedere Hotels apparently, and they have not responded to our inquiry. So maybe we should offer them 700 million quid and see if they come back to us then. But anyway.